myself, Haribabu Prasad Damarla, a retired Deputy General Manager from BSNL and ex-adjunct professor, EC Department, PSCMR College of Engineering and Technology, Vijayawada, AP. In today's lecture, we will discuss about the GSM architecture. First, we will look into the introductory part. In this chapter, we discuss the structure of GSM network, GSM architecture, and GSM subsystem elements. So different elements, subsystems within the GSM network. The two main building blocks of GSM system are one, radio equipment, other one is core equipment. Radio equipment facilitates subscriber to access the GSM network and the services offered by the GSM network. So this radio portion facilitates the access of the user to GSM network for availing the services offered by the GSM network. Then core equipment consists of mobile switching center, so which is abbreviated as MSC or MSTO, where MSC stands for mobile switching center and MSTO stands for mobile switching telephone office, and databases like HLR, which stands for home location register, and VLR, visiting location register or visitor location register. It is also responsible for call handling, billing, and other functions. It is mainly responsible for call handling, interconnecting the users, and the billing as per the duration of the conversation and other miscellaneous activities. The basic unit of GSM network is a cell, and it is identified by the base station or base transceiver station. So the basic unit is cell, which is identified by BS bar BTS. BTS transmits and receives the radio signals and thus provides coverage in a specified area. So the main business of base transceiver station is to transmit the signal to its users on radio path, on wireless path. Similarly, to receive the signals from the mobile stations on wireless access. The third component of GSM network is the OSS, which stands for Operations and Support Subsystem. The OSS takes care of operation and maintenance activities of GSM network or the system. So it is responsible for the operation and maintenance of the GSM network. OSS facilitates operations like monitoring the health of the network and performing day-to-day functions like subscriber creation, providing facilities, and modifications. So OSS continuously monitors round the clock 24/7 the state of the health of the GSM network, and it will also perform certain day-to-day functions like creation of new subscriber when a SIM is given to a mobile user, and providing facilities, what are the facilities required subscriber wise, and any modifications are required in due course of time. So these are all the things that is taken care of by OSS. This is the simplified GSM architecture diagram. As you can see, let us move from left to right. First, the user, which is known as mobile station with subscriber identity module. That means with SIM. Mobile device with SIM is known as MS mobile station. Then we have base transceiver station, BTS or BS, or base transceiver system, whatever you call it. Then this is the wireless connectivity. This path is wireless path. From here onwards, regular path like any landline network. The number of base stations are connected to base station controller, so which will have transcoding and rate adaptation unit, TRAU. This we will discuss in due course of time. These put together, the BTS and BSC put together, it is known as base station subsystem, BSS. Then from base station controller, the network is connected to mobile switching center, which is co-located with visitor location register, VLR. Then this MSC is further connected to gateway MSC, so which in turn is connected to public switch telephone network, so for connecting to other landline networks or to other operator networks. Then MSC is also connected to home location register. These two mainly, the MSC and gateway MSC together, this portion is known as network and switching subsystem. This is NSS portion. Now, let us try to understand a little bit more about different subsystems. So let us simultaneously look into the diagram also. So these are the mobile stations. This is your BTS bar BSC put together, which is known as base station subsystem. Then you have the network subsystem. So first we will discuss about the base station subsystem, BSS, which comprises of, the first one is MS, mobile station, which is a combination of mobile equipment, that is your mobile handset, and SIM, subscriber identity module. Both put together, we call it as MS mobile station. Then we have BTS, base transceiver station. This is the BTS. Then we have BSC, base station controller, which controls the functions of n number of BTSs. Okay, so this is the BSS portion. Then network subsystem. So in the network subsystem, if you can see here, the main component MSC is there, mobile switching center. Okay, so it is having a home location register, authentication center, and equipment ID register, and OMC, operational maintenance control center, or something like part of OSS. And MSC is connected to PSTN. Network switching subsystem comprises of MSC, mobile switching center, VLR, visitor location register, HLR, home location register, AUC, authentication center, sometimes it is called AC also, authentication center. This is the authentication center. Then EIR, Equipment Identity Register. This is the EIR. Then, now we will see about the OMC bar OSS, that is Operation and Maintenance Center or Operation and Support Subsystem. So this is about this one. The OSS supports the operation and maintenance of GSM network and allows system engineers to monitor, diagnose, and troubleshoot all the aspects of the GSM system. It continuously, as I said, 24/7, it monitors the state of the health of all the network elements in the GSM. So it will monitor all. It will monitor BSC, it will monitor BTS, it will monitor MSC and other HLR, AUC and all these things. Okay, it facilitates the system engineers to monitor and diagnose and troubleshoot in case of any problem. So it will help in diagnosing the fault and also facilitates in troubleshooting or rectifying the problem. Then we will try to understand a little bit about the interfaces, how they are connected. So UM, the air interface between mobile station MS and the base station BS or BTS. So this is the interface. This mobile is connected to BTS by means of air interface. This interface name is UM. Then ABIS, the interface between base station and base station controller. You see, this is the BTS, this is the BSC. The interface between these two is known as ABIS interface. This is ABIS interface. This is ABIS interface. Okay. Then we have other third important interface, A interface. The interface between BSC and Mobile Switching Center, MSC or MSTO, is A interface. This is BSC, this is MSC. This is A interface. The name of the interface between BSC and MSC are A interface. So for your academic interest, it is to mention that the ABIS interface and A interface are the transmission media like digital microwave and fiber optic network systems. Now we will look into the basic components of GSM network. Here further I have shown in a detailed manner about different components. Okay, here these are all the mobile stations. Okay, this is the BTS and the area covered by BTS, which is known as the cell. So this is another cell or another BTS area. This is another cell. So these three diagrammatically, of course, these two are connected to this BSC. Yeah, in the field, normal in the field of telecommunication, there are a number of BTSs that are connected to BSC. So in the order of 100, they are connected to base station controller. So similarly, another base station controller. So here diagrammatically they have shown some three. These BSCs are connected to MSC, Mobile Switching Center. Then MSC is further connected to GMSC. So why GMSC is required? So to connect to PSTN, that is Public Switch Telephone Network or landline, ISDN network, Integrated Services Digital Network, and Packet Data Network, PDN. Then this OMC, then it is OMC which is connected to MSC as well as GMSC, because it has to monitor everything in the network, including HLR and VLR. So these are the essential components of GSM network. Now we will try to understand the role of mobile station, that is the MS. So we know MS is nothing but your mobile handset with SIM card incorporated in it. Now let us go point by point. Mobile station or the MS is a combination of GSM handset and a SIM card. GSM handset is technically known as mobile equipment ME and is identified by a unique number known as IME, which stands for International Mobile Equipment Identity. So each handset will have its own IMEI number. Okay, so this is known as International Mobile Equipment Identity. IME is a kind of serial number. It is something like a serial number. The IME is allocated by the manufacturer and registered by the network operator, who stores it in the Equipment Identity Register EIR. So the IMEI, Mobile Equipment Serial Number, is provided by the manufacturer. So at the manufacturing time itself, the IME is printed on it. Okay, and when the mobile is connected to telephone operator, network operator, mobile network operator, so this IMEI number, which is a serial number, is registered by the respective mobile operator. If it is BSNL, so BSNL stores in its equipment identity register. If it is Jio, Jio EIR will register. If it is taking service from Airtel, Airtel will register. So like that. By means of IMEI, network recognizes obsolete, stolen, or non-functional equipment. So based on the IMEI, so the GSM network can recognize which is obsolete, that is outdated, or which is stolen also. When a complaint is received, if somebody loses a mobile handset with SIM, so you can inform the telecom service provider, so they will identify and ensure that the service is blocked to that number, and they will also inform other operators so that the same mobile equipment handset cannot be used in other operators' network. And it will also recognize the non-functional equipment. If suppose the equipment, due to some reason, if it is not properly functioning, that also it identifies. The IMEI is usually requested from the network at the time of registration. So at the time of the mobile is registered on the network, so this IMEI number is collected by the respective telecom service provider. The IMEI is a 15-digit string that includes information about the origin. So what is the origin of this mobile instrument, model number, and serial number of the mobile device. So it consists of three parts: the origin of the manufacturer, the model number, and the serial number of the mobile device. On the GSM network, this number is used to identify a valid phone to the network. So based on IMEI number after registration, it will identify whether he is a valid user or not. IMEI can be blocked on phones that are stolen or lost to stop them accessing the network. As already I told, so if your mobile is lost or stolen, so it can be reported to the respective service provider and they will block the phone. They will not only block the phone, so and they will also ensure that it is blocked by other service providers also, so that the stolen or lost mobile cannot be misused by the thieves. They cannot, it becomes useless for them to use it. The IMEI number is often located inside the battery compartment of a phone. So the IMEI number is printed inside the telephone number, telephone instrument, inside the battery compartment. If you remove the battery, you can see the IMEI number of that mobile instrument. Alternatively, you can usually make it display on screen by entering *#06# on a working network. Because this IMEI number is registered by the mobile service provider, if you dial this number, that is *#06 followed by hash, so the IMEI number is displayed to you. You need not switch off, open the battery. Nowadays, mobile instruments are coming where you cannot open the mobile and take out the battery. Suppose if you have a dual SIM mobile instrument, you will get 2 IMEI numbers when you dial this number. Then there is another important GSM identity number, that is IMSI, IMSI, which stands for International Mobile Subscriber Identity. What is this? We will study. SIM, Subscriber Information Module. SIM, that is the SIM we have to insert in the mobile handset. Then only your mobile can work with one of the operators. Has an international unique number inscribed into it. In the SIM, the number is written, IMSI number is written. This number is called IMSI, which stands for International Mobile Subscriber Identity. This is composed of 3 parts. First part, MCC, which stands for Mobile Country Code, which is a 3-decimal number and it is allotted internationally. So this MCC, Mobile Country Code, is allotted internationally by an organization. So for example, for India, the MCC, Mobile Country Code, may be 404 or 405. It's a 3-decimal number. Then we have MNC, Mobile Network Code. It is a 2-decimal number allotted nationally, and the national code for each operator is different. This MCC, Mobile Network Code, it is having 2 decimals. They are allotted nationally. MCC are allotted internationally, whereas MNC is allotted nationally. So, for example, Airtel, Andhra Pradesh, the MNC code is 49, and for BSNL AP, it is 73. Then the third part is MSIN, which is nothing but a serial number, Mobile Subscriber Identification Number. So it can have up to maximum 10 decimals for identification of the user in his service provider network. So it will have 10 decimals for identifying the user in the service provider network. Based on this, you are identified, your mobile user is identified. So therefore, IMSI is equal to MCC, mobile country code, and mobile network code, plus MSIN, mobile subscriber identification number. Okay. There is another number called MSISDN. MSISDN. MSISDN, which stands for Mobile Subscriber Integrated Services Digital Number, is the real telephone number of a mobile station, and it is assigned to the SIM. So this is the number generally we exchange among ourselves. So what is your mobile number means? I will say 94400000256, something like that. So this is the number. This is called directory number. So it is mapped to our subscriber identity module SIM. So SIM contains, when the service is activated and a telephone number is allotted to you, so it is incorporated or written into the SIM card. The mobile subscriber ISDN number is the number that the calling party dials in order to reach the subscriber, that is the called party, and it is as follows. How we will see, look into it. So what here it is explained is, this is the number what you call to speak to someone else. If you want to speak with me, you have to dial 94400000256. So you are the calling party, I am the called party. Okay, this is the number which is to be dialed by a mobile user to speak with some other mobile user or landline user. Okay, this is the number by which you are identified. It is a public number. You share this information to your relatives or friends or known people. This is the number. So it is also having 3 parts. First part is country code. It can be up to 3 decimals, CC country code. For example, US country code is only one digit only. For India, it is 91, 2 digits. There are some certain countries which are having a country code up to 3 digits. So it can be up to 3 decimals. It need not be 1 or 2 or 3. It is not fixed. It depends upon the country. For US, they have allocated 1. Then you will have National Destination Code, NDC. So it can vary typically from 2 to 4 decimal places. It can be 2 decimals, 3 decimals, or 4 decimal. So it can have 2 to 4. Then subscriber number, maximum up to 10 decimal places. So this is the maximum. It can be 6, 7, 8, depending upon the country. Indian mobile numbers have 10 digits in India. So far we are adopting 10 digits. First 5 digits are allocated time to time by the Department of Telecom to all mobile operators. So DOT allots the first 5 digits. Balance 5 digits are at the disposal of the respective telecom service provider. So they can give whatever the number they want. So the first 5 digits are allocated by the Department of Telecom from time to time. Once you exhaust those, initially they give 10 MSC codes, mobile switching center codes of 5 digits. So after you exhaust 10 sets, you can ask for another set. So that is how they do it. BSNL AP MSC code allotment, for example, initially they have given, say for example, this code 94400 to 94409. That means a set of 10 digits. So here I have given one number. So I told Indian mobile numbers have 10 digits. 10 digits means, okay, this 91 plus indicates international, This is the international code +91. Then this 94400 is the series allocated by Department of Telecom to Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. So I have given example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number. So this number 94400 followed by all 5 numbers I can provide till I exhaust up to this. Then at the time of almost exhausting, we can request the Department of Telecom to give another series of 10 sets. At present in India, for mobile communication, first we started with first digit as 9. Then we started with 8. Then we started with 7. Then we start now still 6 also we are using. Since it is a 10-digit number, if I am correct, each digit provides 100 crore mobile numbers. So on level 9 you can have 100 crore, on level 8 you can have another 100 crore, level 7 you can have 100 crore, and level 6 you can have 100 crore. That means by using these 4 initial digit you can have 400 crores. At present in India, as of now, we are having approximately 115 to 120 crore mobile connections. So there is a lot of provision with these 4 digits. The digits below 6, that is right from 2, 3, 4, 5 are used for landline communication by different operators. One is used for some special services like fault booking 198, emergency 112, then call center numbers 1800, 1860, like that. Then we have another number as far as GSM is concerned, which is MSRN, Mobile Station Roaming Number. Mobile Station Roaming Number, MSRN, is a temporary location dependent ISDN number assigned to a mobile station by a regionally responsible visitor location register, VLR. So it is nothing but your MSISDN, but it varies depending upon your visitor location. For example, you are in Andhra Pradesh. So you have taken service connection from one of the operators in Andhra Pradesh. So you are given one number. Then suppose if you are going to, say for example, Bangalore, so the MSC, the VLR at Bangalore allots you one MSISD number temporarily as long as you are in the VLR of Bangalore. So that is a temporary MSISDN number. So once you come out of, you migrate to some other area covered by an MSC, which is having VLR of its own. So it will give its own number. So it is known to network only. We do not know what is the number allocated. But anybody who wants to call you will call by the same number which is originally provided to you at the time of registration or taking the service. Using, what is the purpose of MSRN? Using MSRN, the incoming calls are channeled or routed to the MS. So it indirectly indicates you are in which location, in which VLR location, you are in which MSC. So based on that, the incoming calls are connected even though you are not in your original VLR location or MSC location. The MSRN has the same structure as MSISDN. So the structure is same. That is country code. Of course, we have seen country code, how many decimals and all. So this country code is of the visited network. Suppose if I go to US, say I went to say Washington DC. So it will have the country code of US, that means 1. National destination code. So for Washington DC, what is the national destination code? So that code is added to that number. Then the subscriber number SN in the current mobile network. So whatever the network you are served in the visited country bar visited place in the world. So yeah, that serial number will be given to you. So it is nothing but MSISDN number, but provided by the VLR of the your migrated country bar migrated area. So it is depend upon the country code and the national destination code of the that specific country where you have visited. This is the last mobile identity number. This is known as TIMC. The TIMC is an identity which guarantees the integrity of the mobile subscribers on the radio interface and protect the subscribers from being identified by those attempting to monitor the radio channel. Actually, once after registration for call connections and processing, so this IMSI is not used. Only for the first time when you are latched to a VLR, at that time only it is registered. Then the VLR or the network provides one temporary mobile subscriber identity number, which is transported or communicated or from one network element to other network element for call connection and other activities, so that the secrecy can be maintained, so that you cannot be hacked based on IMSI number. So it provides security aspect. The VLR assigns a TIMC to each mobile subscriber entering the VLR area. So whenever you go to a specific VLR, the VLR gives a TIMC based on the IMSI. So it need not be the same TIMC number when you are in one VLR to when you go to the second VLR or third VLR. So it is dynamically changes. So this is the number which is used for providing the connectivity in the network. TIMC is assigned only after successful authentication. So after authenticating you as the authorized user of the GSM network, then only the TIMC will be assigned to you. TIMC has only local significance, that is within the VLR and the area controlled by the VLR. So within the specified VLR only it is valid. When you go to some other VLR, so some other TIMC is allotted to you. So that is why they say it is having local significance. Then we will look into the main functions of the mobile station. So once again I reiterate, mobile station is nothing but your handset with SIM. The primary function of mobile station is to transmit and receive the voice and data over the air interface of the GSM system. Everybody, we all know by this time the air interface is between base station and mobile station. So its business is to transmit the radio signal from mobile station to base station and receive the radio signal from base station to mobile station. So the business is for transmitting and receiving radio signals from the base station. Mobile stations performs the signal processing functions like digitizing, that means analog to digital conversion, encoding, so a code is given, any error correction required, and modulating the signal. So it also modulates the signal for transmitting on the radio carrier. It also performs the inverse functions on the received signals from the BTS. When it is receiving the signals from BTS, so it has to do the reverse functions like demodulating. Once again, any error is there, error correction it has to do. The encoded signal is to be decoded, and it has to convert the signal back from digital to analog. So we can hear only analog signals. Human beings can perceive only analog signals, not digital signals like our computers. So D2A conversion has to take place from BTS to MS. MS mobile station keeps the GSM network informed of its location during both national and international roaming, even when it is inactive. This enables the system to page it in case of incoming calls by SMS. So here the gist of the information is like this. Whenever MS moves from one place to other place, it may be within the nation or it may be internationally also. So it always informs the network. So I am moving, I am at this place, like that. It will notify its location either nationally or internationally while on move or on roaming. Here, even when it is inactive, whether you are using the mobile or not, so it has to notify its location either nationally or internationally. So this facilitates the system to page it in case of incoming calls and SMS. Because of this location updation only, you will be able to get SMS wherever you are, or you can get incoming calls. That is called paging. So getting of SMS or incoming calls is known as paging. Then we will sum up what we have discussed here. So in this session, we have discussed about the introduction to GSM architecture. We have studied a little bit about base station subsystem, network subsystem, then operations and support subsystem. Then we have seen the GSM interfaces like air interface, UM, and we have seen then ABIS interface between base station and base station controller, and A interface between BSC and MSC. Then we have seen certain mobile GSM numbers, IMEI, IMSI, MSISDN, MSRN, TIMC, and we have also seen the basic functions of the mobile station. So with this, we will conclude this first part of the GSM architecture. Thank you.